Hello and welcome to our continuing coverage here from Davos 2023. I'm Shireen Bhan. It's a very cold morning, but it stopped snowing, so that's the only good part as far as the weather is concerned. You know, India is making its presence felt here in Davos like never before. If you walk down the promenade, which is essentially the high street for Davos at the time of the World Economic Forum, you will see several lounges that India has set up. There is, of course, the India lounge set up by the central government. There are state lounges from Maharashtra to Telangana, and there are, of course, a plethora of Indian companies, the tech companies, that have their lounges as well. So there's India quite prominently on display there on the promenade. Well, what you won't see is either the Delhi government or the Punjab government's lounges, but what you will see is India's youngest Rajya Sabha MP, Raghav Chadha, who also happens to be a young global leader here at the World Economic Forum. He joins us now. Raghav, good to have you back here in Davos. It's a pleasure to speak with you. As I was saying, India prominently on display here in Davos this year.
Absolutely, and I think that is the diversity dividend of India, where you have several states participating, having multiple chalets. I think we're the only country that has so many chalets on the promenade, and a healthy competition among states competing in a healthy way for investment, seeking investment for their respective states, and with the overall objective of strengthening India. So I think India is making its presence felt at Davos 2023 at the 53rd annual general meeting of the Davos. Yes, and Delhi and Punjab, as you mentioned, they may not have a chalet yet at the promenade. Well, I am in the capacity of a young global leader as a YGL. Participating in the 53rd AGM, and on the sidelines I'm also trying to catch up with several industrialists from across the globe and essentially see if they're interested for investment purposes back home in Delhi and Punjab, and a conversation around what we can offer, what sort of red carpet can we roll for them if they were to invest in our states.
You know, you talked about this healthy competition, this competitive federalism in India, and you also talked about rolling out the red carpet for both domestic as well as global investors. What is going to be the pitch that the governments, both of Delhi and Punjab, are going to make to investors at this point in time to draw in fresh investment, particularly Punjab?
Well, speaking of Punjab, which is the food bowl of India, which is the land of green revolution, which has the most enterprising set of individuals in the country, is a state that has several things to offer when it comes to investments. From a very strong logistical backbone, where Punjab has been rated as the safest logistical chain that Punjab has as far as the Indian ratings are concerned, with ICDs, with multimodal logistics parks, etc. Apart from that, we are giving statutory backing to ease of doing business with legislations, with the Punjab Anti-Red Tape Act, with the Punjab Right to Business Act, one-of-a-kind act in the country. And apart from that, Punjab has the highest internet density in the country, low cost of power. Government is incentivizing investment like never before, whether it's access to subsidized land, whether it's giving the YGF, the VGF, that is the viability gap funding, relaxation in the fixed capital investments, GST incentives, waiver of stamp duty, so on and so forth. And it's a liberal market with no stringent labor laws. So I think all in all, Punjab is a package that a lot of investors would certainly be open to considering. And it's not that there hasn't been investment in Punjab previously. I remember even in the dark days of 80s, when Punjab was unfortunately going through the worst period ever of insurgency, militancy, and so on and so forth. In the year 1989, you would be surprised to know, PepsiCo started its first potato chips company in Sangrur, which is its biggest plant. In fact, they're up their investment further in the decades to follow. And not just that, Punjab has the world's biggest tractor manufacturing company in Hoshiarpur. We have the biggest cycle manufacturers in Ludhiana. So I think there is an environment of investment that we're here to project. And above all, I think a government that means business, a government that has zero tolerance towards corruption, is what is required. Hand-holding by a government that does not have vested interest in business, that doesn't want kickbacks from the industry. That's the kind of governments that people and industry are looking forward to working with closely, and I think that's what Punjab has to offer.
You know, hand-holding is of course something that industry would appreciate. Ease of doing business is something that industry would appreciate. But fiscal space, Raghav, you're a chartered accountant, you would know this better than anybody else. To provide subsidies that you cannot afford at this point in time, given the constraints that you face on the fiscal side, how do you address that challenge? And isn't there a limit to how much the government can do by way of subsidies, etc., given the constraints, the fiscal constraints?
Well, there is no doubt that we have inherited, a state that is going through several fiscal challenges. We have an outstanding debt of roughly 3.5 lakh crores. And that is what we have inherited. These are legacy issues that we're dealing with. I can tell you, without getting into the nitty-gritties, because formal announcements will follow, that we are restructuring our debt like any corporate would do to bring down the fixed payment of interest and capital. We are augmenting revenue. You'll be surprised to know that our excise revenue and GST collections for the state of Punjab in this financial year have increased by leaps and bounds like never before. Unprecedented increase, because we've given an honest government, because the taxpayer today feels that if we pay the money, the government will spend it for our betterment, and they're depositing, there's more compliance. And apart from that, wasteful expenditure, Shireen, has been something that Punjab has been plagued with. We are really cracking down on wasteful expenditure. I'll give you a small example. In Punjab, there were several crore ghost employees that were getting pension. We did the whole exercise, removed those ghost employees, and you'll be surprised to know we are now saving 162 crore rupees per annum. That's a small figure. Secondly, there was something called as the one MLA multiple pension scheme that was going on in Punjab, where if you are a 5-time MLA and you don't win the 6th time, you will get pension for 5 different terms, not one term. This is the height of wasteful expenditure. We withdrew that, we brought one MLA, one pension, and we are saving a few hundred crores in that. So therefore, a decisive crackdown on wasteful expenditure, and above all, as you and I both know, Punjab has been a state that has been plagued with corruption. Huge corruption, corruption that was engineered, and the beneficiaries of the corruption were at the highest echelons of power in the state. Corruption-free environment is what the industry needs today, and that is what we're offering. So I think, all in all, you will see, as far as the debt of Punjab is concerned, the fiscal health of Punjab is concerned, that it will improve. And above all, let me just permit me to say this, that debt also is something that needs to be qualified or classified into good debt and bad debt. It really depends on where you spend this debt. Yeah. If you're spending this debt in fixed capital formation, in bringing in infrastructure, in investing in human capital, it's good debt. And if you are spending that money in foreign junkets and so on and so forth, then that is wasteful expenditure and that is bad debt.
The question is sustainable debt, and
well,
at 3 lakh crores, whatever you do by way of cost savings with a couple of 100 crores, if you just gave us examples of, that's not really going to cut things much. And of course, you need to look at significant mobilization.
Absolutely, and we're doing that.
Asset monetization, is that going to be something that the government is going to?
Well, it would be very early for us to comment on that, but I can certainly say that restructuring of debt and augmenting several revenue flows is a high priority area for my government, and the health of the government as a standalone entity is not going to impact, or we will ensure is not going to impact, the health of standalone businesses in the state. We are going to give the red carpet treatment to them, and it'll only benefit the state in higher tax collections, in higher GST, in higher excise collections, so on and so forth. And of course, there are challenges that I think not just Punjab, every state in this country is feeling today. For example, the GST compensation that states used to get is over. Every state in this country, as you know, gets share in central taxes. As per the Finance Commission, I think it's about 41%. But whatever the state in central taxes pays, a part of it comes to the government, the state government. Now, what this government at the center is doing, and this is of course a global arena, and I don't want to get into petty politics, but I want to highlight a challenge that every state is facing, that instead of raising taxes, the central government is now raising cesses, surcharges, which go into the central pool, and states don't get a share of that. So I think there are several challenges that every state in that sense on the fiscal space is facing, and I think all of us will collectively find solutions.
You know, speaking of challenges, we just talked about the health of the balance sheet of the state of Punjab, but let's talk about health, Raghav. You know, both Delhi and Punjab, pollution is a scourge at this point in time. You have governments in both states. The hope and the expectation was that there would have been much more forward momentum in being trying to able to address these issues. Stubble burning, I mean, you know, here we're talking about innovation, we're talking about breakthrough technologies. Is there likely to be something that the government is going to do in order to incentivize farmers from stubble burning in trying to get technology, which is accessible, by the way, to farms in Punjab?
Look, first of all, we take full responsibility for the stubble burning that happens in our state of Punjab. Stubble burning is a North India issue. Stubble burning happens across the North Indian belt, but we are the administration in Punjab and we take full responsibility for it. We formed government early in the year 2022. The stubble burning season arrived in October. We had very little time. We were grappling with issues in terms of law and order, fiscal health, so on and so forth. So therefore, stubble burning is something that we are working on now, and we will certainly come up with a silver bullet solution and solve this problem vis-a-vis Punjab.
Okay.
Crop diversification is one of them, which the government is very serious about. We want to get out of this paddy wheat cycle and move to different crops, which will actually benefit the farmer in terms of its profits. Apart from that,
so you in conversation with private sector companies? How do you intend to
so
do that?
I don't, you know, you said something very interesting that you have to incentivize the farmer.
Yeah.
You have to incentivize the farmer. But one of the several ways of incentivizing the farmer is incentivizing the industry to look at stubble as a profitable business. And that is one of the most significant conversations that I'm going to have at the World Economic Forum with several industry leaders as to how we can use this stubble in ways you know, that can lead to profitable business ventures, whether it's production of ethanol, whether it's biogas, whether it's farm to fuel, so on and so forth. So therefore, that's a conversation that I am...
Can I tie you down to a timeline, Raghav Chadha? Because I think everyone, you know...
I am equally worried, I tell you.
It's not just about being worried, but it's also about having some visibility on when we are going to see an execution roadmap. Can I tie you down to some timeline?
Yes, by the time we sit in this building behind the you know, beautiful Swiss Alps next year, you will find solutions and you will find concrete results. As far as I am promising that, yeah.
Okay, you're promising
Hopefully,
that
yes.
here on live television, and we're going to hold you.
We will do our very best, yes. With good, clean intentions, we will be able to show you a significant change in terms of air pollution that is originating from my state.
You know, one of the things that the Delhi government has done well, and that is on electric mobility. It is today, I think, amongst states the highest in terms of pushing the electric mobility numbers. What more can we expect on that front, and do you believe that again there needs to be a review now in terms of subsidies, etc.? Do you think because enough momentum has come in as far as seeding electric mobility is concerned, will there be a review?
I think states among themselves have you know, identified ambitious targets for going green, and targets to generate 50-60% of their overall energy needs through renewable energy, to you know, arrive at a net zero emission sort of objective. And EV policy is just one of the several ways of doing that, and I think Delhi government has one of the most progressive EV policies in the country. Industry has very well received it. The think tank of the Delhi government, the Environment Minister and the Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, are in constant contact with the industry, even when it comes to nitty-gritties of putting up charging stations. What more tweaking is required in the subsidy or the incentive structures. So I think we are open to more you know, responses and consultations with the industry, and I think you know, the EV policy of Delhi is certainly going to pave way for EV policies of several states. In fact, in Punjab, we are likely to come up with an EV policy very soon.
Okay, an EV policy for Punjab very soon as well. You know, I want to ask you this, Raghav, you're here as a YGL, as a young global leader. You're the youngest Rajya Sabha MP as well. You know, what has the last few years in politics taught you? Because many leaders that I've spoken to, both globally as well as in India, have always said that reform is the art of the possible. How do you look at the issue of reforms in your experience of having been in politics now for the last few years?
Well, I think reform is something that's constant in every facet of life, whether it's politics, governance, administration, or personal life. And I think if you don't change with time, if you don't innovate, if you don't reform with time, you are bound to lag behind. And I think whether it's domestic politics back home, whether it's industry or whether it's government, it's survival of the fittest. And you can remain fit or become fittest only when you bank upon reform and innovation.
So what is going to be the reform and the innovation mantra for the Aam Aadmi Party? Last time when we were here, you said that it is an example of one of the fastest growing startups.
That's true. I'm glad you remember it, and that's a fact that Aam Aadmi Party is the fastest growing political startup, perhaps in the subcontinent. And in less than 1 decade of our existence, we had governments in 2 states, Delhi and Punjab. We had members of parliament, MLAs in 4 states. So I think Aam Aadmi Party has come a long way, and we're a national party now. So hopefully the year 2023, with more state elections, and 2024, the Lok Sabha election, is going to be a good, bright year for the Aam Aadmi Party. And I think it's because Aam Aadmi Party is offering a model. If I don't know whether you've read the report that was published by the World Economic Forum in January, in this month, on the global risks.
Yes, I have.
The biggest risk that even the World Economic Forum has highlighted, that is a challenge for the entire world, is the cost of living,
yes,
the rising cost of living.
Yeah.
I think that risk and that challenge is something that is being addressed by perhaps only my party and our administrations in Delhi and Punjab. We're investing in human capital. We're bringing down the cost of living by giving them a life of dignity, with free electricity up to a certain limit, with access to quality water, quality free healthcare, good quality free education. So we're investing in the human capital and therefore bringing down the cost of living. When the cost of living comes down, of course the purchasing power goes up. Of course there is more demand. Of course more demand leads to more consumption. More demand, more consumption leads to more supplies, more production, and then the economic cycle, of course, takes on progressively. So I think that one challenge and that one model is something that my party alone is offering to the people of the country, and I hope that the Kejriwal model of governance that we talk about moves from Delhi and Punjab to different parts of the country very, very soon.
Well, Raghav Chadha, we wish you the very best of luck, and
Thank you.
And I look forward to having this conversation with you again, because you have promised that we are going to see forward movement on the crucial issue of pollution, on the issue of stubble burning, and of course crop diversification as well. We look forward to hearing.
If I survive this cold and go back home.
No, we're going to ensure that you survive this cold, just so that you can deliver on the promise. But thanks very much.
Thank you.
Wish you the very best. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
All the best.